In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful sort of vintage looking card using the JND411 small baubles, and we'll also be using JND400 Helen's Holly. Now, in the small bauble set, which this video focuses on, you receive 6 different small bauble inserts that will give you 6 completely different baubles, as well as bauble outers, and this little die here, which when cut will give you 3 little crowns for them, should you wish to use crowns on top of your baubles. And this bauble has been sized so that it matches with some products that are coming out within the 2Js range later in the season, and also matching with the other John Next Door parts of the Christmas collection 2023. So we're going to start just by making up our background, and this is very, very simple. I've simply taken here, I've got a card blank that's been cut to 4 inches by 8 inches wide, and I've then cut a set of mats and layers in the new Craft Artist colours of Christmas green and burgundy. So these have been cut to 4, I believe, and we'll measure this just to make sure. So the green has been cut to 3 3/4 by 7 3/4, and the burgundy has been cut to an extra 1/8 of an inch on that, so 3 7/8 by 7 7/8, really simple. And then I've cut a panel of gold, and this is vintage gold card from the Craft Artist range in the satin, and this is 7.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and I've simply embossed this using an old Crafts 2 embossing folder just to give it a little bit of texture. This is a Vintage Trees A4 folder that I've used here. Next, I've taken a piece of very old music paper. This is just genuine music paper from years ago, and I've simply roughly torn it down to give me a strip that's around 3 inches wide. So we just want to affix this on. So I've already put foam tape onto the back of this panel. I'm simply going to reveal that foam tape, and using my water media mat so that I don't have to worry about it sticking down, I place it the right way up across the centre of my strip. Make sure I'm happy, turn it over, and simply wrap the 2 pieces around. So this isn't adhered on, this is almost floating on top. I can then reveal the rest of the foam tape that's on this panel. So take these off, really nice and simple. And I'm going to apply a little bit of glue, because obviously these side pieces are no longer sticky. So using my fine glue applicator and Crafts Artist glue, I'm going to apply a little bit of glue to each side. Make sure that you put the pin back in. And we're then going to pop that onto our mats and layers, nice and even, and we'll glue that onto our card blank. So quite simple. Glue all the way around, 4 sides into the centre, and that's more than enough glue if you're using a decent glue like the Craft Artist, and then onto our card blank. And I've done this as a side fold, as I think it looks really nice side folded on these long sort of DL cards. So what we want to do next is to cut and mount our baubles. So I've got here another piece of the vintage gold card and a piece of the burgundy card, and I'm simply going to take my baubles. And the great thing is, because you've got more than one outer, in fact I think what we'll do on this one, we'll cut 3. I can cut quite a few together. So take a piece of tape, pick up your central section of your bauble, hover over your outer and tape it down. Do the same again, making sure you keep the design nice and central. By doing it this way, it's easy to make sure that everything lines up. So I'm not too happy with that, so we'll pick that one up again, and we'll simply tape that down, and we'll place that in. And I'll do the third, and we'll take the snowflake. And from the back, you can see exactly where the top is. There's always a little dot on the top of the bauble, which means that you can match that up with the dot on the top of the bauble here. I'll show you what I mean. So there's a little dot there, we're lining with that dot, there with that dot, there with that dot, to make sure they're nice and even. and we simply run that through our die cutting machine. And I'm going to die cut these because I want to show you how easy these cut and also how easy they are to take out. So we simply run it through our die cutting machine. I'm using my Kaleido, but these will fit through the smallest of die cutting machines. There we go. And you can see there all 3 pieces cut perfectly. And all you want to do is just ease out at the point. When they're small and delicate like this, you don't want to start going and poking in. You want to just ease it out at the points where the pokes are. And so I'm just going to take the little pieces out. Really simple. And I find pushing against my finger helps get them out cleanly. So we'll take these out, and you'll notice in the design this has a beautiful leaping stag and is a smaller version of what you get in the larger Sam's baubles, with the Helen's holly just holding it and collected in. So again, I would clean out the rest of those baubles and we would do them all together. But all I'm simply going to do this time, just take a rule, clean my plate down, is take a piece of the burgundy card. And what you will find is you can cut 2 layers of this if you want at the same time. I'm just going to cut 1 on this occasion because I only need 1. So we simply tape that down and we cut this through on our burgundy card, and that will give us exactly the right shape to fit behind. So I'm running that through my Kaleido. You can run this through any die cutting machine that you've got. As I say, the small baubles are small enough to go onto even the tiniest of machines, so they'll fit every machine that's been done. And there we go. So now I can glue that on using my fine glue applicator or a little bit of spray glue. I'm using Craft Mount by 3M, which I find is the most effective. And what we do is line up the bauble to the top and then pull it down to fit. And it fits absolutely perfectly. And it's a lot easier to go from the top down. So then we've got our bauble finished, and I've decided I'm going to do 5 of these. So we've got a leaping stag, we've got 1 going left, 1 going right, I've got the double, and I've got just the double leaping stag. So I've got 5 of those 6 baubles all cut. And you want to decide in what order you're going to put them. So I think I'm going to go with that way. Yeah, I'm going to go the way I've laid it out. So simply turn those over to the back like that. And the 3 that will sit in the back want 1 piece of foam tape. So take your foam tape and simply put 1 piece down the center of each bauble on the 3 primary ones. I'm then going to take a little bit more foam tape and I'm going to put 2 strips down each of the single sort of baubles, as these ones will sit a little bit proud. So I need to put a second layer on and do the same with the second bauble. It's really simple. The same with the second. There we go, just like that. So we've got 2 layers and 1 layer. So now we bring in our card blank. I can just turn those over. Really simple. Put my mat back straight. So I'm going to take the first one that's got 1 layer, and I'm going to put that just almost against the bottom, a little way in. So I'm working from each side. So I work from each side again, in a little bit at the bottom. Take the third one and do the same again. So put that nice and evenly in the center, so it's nice and even. We then take our 2 baubles with 2 layers and we slot those in so that they're almost touching the top. So almost touching the top, but going between those 2 baubles. And that's an easy way to get them nice and even. And we could string those up, or we could put lights through. I've got a great card to show you at the end of this demonstration where that's been done. But what we're going to do is to put some holly on. So I'm going to move that away to one side, and I'm just going to bring in a piece of card where I've already got them cut. So what I've done here is I've already cut Helen's holly. So I have the 2 larger pieces. So we just lay those down, which go left and right. I've got a little bit extra because I always have a little bit extra. I've got the 2 medium pieces, again, left and right. And I have the 2 smaller pieces, again, left and right. And of course, I've got a few more little pieces that I've cut, but this is what you'll get and all you'll need for this from one piece. So now I want to add a little bit of colour and vintage these up. So I'm using the new Gold Fusion Christmas from the Christmas limited edition set, and this is the holly and one of the mini daubers. Just take a little bit of that, and on a dark colour you'll see the green far more. So I'm just randomly dotting this over so that the leaves of the holly look as if they've just been kissed with gold. Very simple, but it just works really effectively. So we move that out, and you can see now as I pick one of those up, you can see you've got that beautiful green gold. If you just use gold, it'll be very, very bright. That's what's so fantastic about the Fusion. And all I need to do is I'm going to grab the holly in the middle with my tweezers and fold each leaf over my tweezers to give it a little bit of scope and a little bit of shaping. Again, very easy. You don't need a lot of tools. You can use any sort of tweezers for this. I do the same with the medium size. I don't bother with the small size as they're quite cute and small as they are, and they're just almost little fillers. So we're just going to take those, and there we go. So we would do that to all 4 of those pieces. In fact, what I'm going to do is, although I've already got this done, I'm going to do that again just to show you. So just with the tweezers, take each piece and fold over those. Nice and simple. So you can see now we've got left and right. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the smaller pieces. So nice and simple, nice and easy. And again, if you want to really fill this out, you can add more. So on the original, I've got sort of a double set on there, but for this one, I'm just going to use a single set. So we'll bring in our card and move those out. And I'm going to add these on using a little bit of glue gel. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of glue gel bang in the center. I'm then going to take my left and add a little bit just to the end of a couple of leaves. You don't want it on every leaf because you're wanting this to sort of be stuck down so it won't come off, but you're wanting this to float. So I'm just putting that across there like that. I'm going to take the second one and do exactly the same with that. So just a little bit of glue gel, or you can use normal glue on sort of 3 of the random leaves and tuck that into that big blob and move that along. So you can see now we've got that beautiful little spray there. I'm then going to take the smaller ones, and again, a little bit of glue gel. You may want to use, if you're using this, the syringe for it. I find this just as easy. And I'm going to take it coming out from there and coming over this last bauble, just like that. I'm going to do the same with the one going in the other direction. So again, a little bit, but as I said, you can use just normal glue if you want to do that. So here we go, and take those. And again, coming out from there and going over the last of that. And your final pieces, you can just shape in your hand really simply. And I'm just simply going to add those in to that glue gel in the middle to give me a little bit more detail and interest. If you want to just add a little pop of colour onto this, you can take your Pearl Dimension in Christmas Red, again new from Craft Artist, and I'm just going to add a berry in, and I'm going to randomly add a few little berries on here, just to make a little pop of colour and show how beautiful the holly is. So we'll go 3 there, I really like berries in threes. But gives you a beautiful vintage Christmas card with those stunning baubles just hanging down. Or you can do a more full one like the original version, but two slightly different ideas just using the same die sets. For more hints, tips, ideas and inspiration, why not visit the Crafting with John next door and Crafts 2 group on Facebook. Enjoy.